Welcome back, everybody, to day one of the VCT Game Changers Academy. And it's March, and we are in the third round of groups now. On the desk with me, I have Epitomes and Nari Mizuki. I mean, we just saw Invicta versus Team Kittens over on Bind, where Team Kittens managed to take that map 13-10. Invicta did have a really close comeback. I believe that was 5 rounds in a row, once swapping sides on the second half, once Invicta was on the attack. Unfortunately, not able to wrap things up to an OT, but I mean, we've got some more hot Valorant action coming up because we are going to be seeing Lotus versus Team Mystic Venus. But before we get into that, I do want to take a quick look at the standings. This is Group A that we're going into right now with the Team Mystic Venus versus Lotus matchup. But to get you through the standings of Group A, that's going to be Dart Monkeys coming out on top right now in a 2-0 after round 2. Team Mystic Venus is 1-0 currently, or 1-1. NMG Celeste 1-1 as well, and Lotus is currently 0-2. And just to let you guys know as well about the top standing teams within the other groups, Group B, that's going to be Final Form on top. Group C, it'll be Light Up Sketchers, and Group D, it'll be Def Not SRN. At the end of this matchup, we will run you through a full standings list at the end of round 3. But before we get into that, welcome back, ladies. How are we feeling? And I mean, Sam, are you looking forward to this matchup?
I really am, and I think it's because there's quite a bit on the line here. Less so for Lotus, unfortunately, having gone 0-2, even if they win this matchup, they're not going to be able to qualify for playoffs. So it is a little bit unfortunate on that front. But Mystic and NMG both being 1-1 mean that if they win their respective matchups, it all comes down to that ever important round differential. So Mystic here need to come in, and not only do they need to win it, but they need to 13-0. And given how closely contested these matches have been, I don't see that happening. I think they might just get pushed to the brink here. It's going to be really tough. But there's a lot on the line here because remember, only 2 teams from each group are going to make it into the playoffs. So it's an
I'm like waiting to see if Sam is coming back or if I should jump in, but I'm just gonna take the cue really quickly there. We do know that Sam is all the way in the EMEA region right now and not in NA, so got a little bit of ping dip going on if you guys don't mind that. She's doing amazing on the desk regardless, but I mean, like you were saying, it is only the 2 top teams. This is a 16-team bracket as well, and it's day 1, round robin group stage, where we are in best of ones for every single matchup. Tomorrow will be top 8 and semifinals, and Sunday we will have the grand finals of the VCT Game Changers Academy of March. As a reminder, this is also presented to you by Verizon and AIM Labs. But let's get into the picks and bans really quickly. So first off, we're going to have Team Lotus banning Split, then TMV will be banning Bind, and Lotus bans Ascent. Icebox will be banned by Team Mystic Venus. Lotus then bans Haven. Fracture is then banned by Team Mystic Venus, leaving Breeze at the map choice, and Lotus will be starting on the defense. How are you feeling about this Breeze pickup, Tala?
I mean, I think Breeze is definitely one of the better pug maps. So if you are a team that tends to have more like puggy play styles, like maybe what we saw from our last 2 matches, it seemed like it was more of like a pickup group play. There was a little less coordination and more reliance on individual gunplay. I think Breeze is definitely one of the maps for you. And I think that there is like some set team comps on Breeze as well. People have kind of decided Viper is the only controller who can really take up that much space in Breeze. Like even when Astra was very strong, Astra was not strong on Breeze. So I think definitely we will see that Viper coming into Breeze, and that is going to be probably a staple of who plays the Viper better. And but as for duelists, probably a Jet is something that we're going to see. We didn't see a Jet at all on Bind, which was pretty refreshing, and we saw quite a few Rosa alts, you might call them, but I'm excited to see a Jet who's able to take up that space.
Absolutely. And I mean, what you were saying about Viper, that toxic screen is one of the only pieces of utility that can cut up sites like that under the controller's belt as far as, util available, especially with the fact that Breeze sites are so massive. But we will be cutting to Agent Select just shortly. And just as you mentioned that Jet pickup as well, Tala, I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see a chamber, but we'll just have to wait and see as you guys take it into Agent Select.
Thank you so much, Pyro. Yes, we're going to be jumping into the last matchup of the evening. The stakes have been set. Winning out this one is going to be very important, at the very least, for Mystic. And, well, we got 5 Yorus, Tala. What do you feel about that?
Oh, great, Yoru, yay! Honestly, even after the Yoru buffs, I feel like he's just not good. Like,
Yeah.
even though he has like a full body size decoy, it's like it just feels. I mean, it's like Yoru is still just one of those agents that I feel like they just didn't really get right, because even though they did sort of rework him a little bit, it just feels like there's not a lot of outplay that can be done with Yoru when that was kind of like what they were going with around his design. But enough about that. Here is the like it is a mirror matchup, and yeah, this is kind of what I expected.
Yeah, pretty standard. I think the only question mark for me was going to be something in terms of the Sentinel, because a lot of teams like playing the Cypher on this map. But with how good Chamber has been, particularly in those eco rounds where you can essentially have a free sheriff, just about, you still got to buy your bullets, but it's basically a free sheriff. It does make a massive difference. So here we are, jumping straight in on to Breeze. Team Mystic versus Lotus. Everything to play for here for Mystic. Unfortunately, Lotus not really in the running any longer, but Team Mystic still have a long way if they want to snag that final spot in the playoffs.
Team Mystic Venus definitely has to get as big of a round differential as possible, and that's going to start with being able to secure this burst pistol round and hopefully the buy up and then the bonus. So it's the first 3 rounds, very important to set the pace of this game, especially for Team Mystic Venus. And Lotus, they're still going to fight for some of those stats and maybe a potential denial of Team Mystic Venus into the finals, but already we are getting into the game, and it's an entry onto the B site.
Ooh, that's unfortunate, despite the fact that VCT gets flashed out there. It's gonna go the wrong way. 3 versus 3 here. Spike has already been planted, so we're in a very strong retake scenario here. Flash is going to come out, so Zephyr's going to be forced to pull back for a second. Ooh, nice little shot connecting there. They do realize that there's someone just around the corner, but the crossfire is so strong. You think you're aiming at one, but the rest of the team is still there, and Mimi will clean it up with her 4th kill on the round.
Nice and easy first round for Team Mystic Venus. They've had quite a few players still left alive by the end of it, with only and now they are able to secure even a Vandal from Mimi here. She's buying big and she cannot lose that gun. I don't know if she's going to. What is she buying? It's a Phantom. It's a Phantom, guys. And only one player is going to stick to the classic, and it's Chamber. But oh my god, the spray down right at the beginning of the round.
Yeah, you very often expect these kind of super aggressive push-outs when you know you're on an anti-eco, and now with 50 Cent getting that kill onto Violet, they know that it's going to be a push-in through main. There's still only 2 players left alive. Viper's Pit's going to stop any sort of a push-in. The hero rifle, we've seen what Mimi can do with a pistol. What can she do with a rifle? All right, well, that last kill is going to get kind of yoinked away, as it's Pine this time around who comes up huge, but that round goes more or less as expected.
Yeah, Violet, I mean, losing her life, honestly, not the biggest of deals. She didn't buy into a rifle, instead opting for that headhunter, and is actually probably going to be able to buy a rifle here, but instead opts to save, go for the headhunter once again, and sort of match economy with the rest of her team. They're up against the full rifle buy. It's undecided whether or not they'll be able to secure this. They've been pretty dominant past few rounds, and now they're looking to take a lot of mid control. There is one player in tunnels, but no one in nest to really contest this position.
Jasmine gets forced off of her position very early on there by some of that KO Utah. Which could be where they're kind of posturing in towards. Of course, the Owl Drone's going to come out just to check those close angles. Jasmine's going to get spotted out. Oh, caught with the recon dot out, but manages to slip away behind cover. And in the meantime, Katie pushes out towards the top of mid and is able to get a nice clean pick off there. That's going to net them their first kill of the round, and that's going to start to favor the defenders quite heavily. Rotation's going to come through as Spike starts to make its way over towards the B site. Now, Team Mystic, they want to hold on to the lead that they've given themselves, but unfortunately, they've lost one of those rifles, so only one hero rifle still left alive or in the matchup against a full set. Smoke screen comes up. That's going to deny a lot of the sight lines as well. Give them the opportunity to put that spike down, but that toxin is going to run out. It manages to survive just long enough. Because one player is going to get tagged up. Oh, but they're playing so patiently. They don't want to overextend this. They don't want to overpush this. One player goes down as Pine is getting a lot of clean up there, but it's still... Well, it was in favor of Lotus. They bring it back down to the 2 versus 2. That knife's going to come through. That's going to detect one, but it's Pre-Tax Minecraft that's going to get taken down. Now, last player Violet left in window, and it's 50 who's going to shut her down.
2 players left alive after the bonus. Not bad for Lotus. They're at least able to win back that rifle round, and now once again try and buy up into the rifles. But on the other side, Team Mystic Venus, a full loadout from them, and they looked pretty confident even going to the round at a little bit of a gun deficit. Now it's a positioning towards mid again, trying to take control. It seems like that chamber is going to rotate around. Zephyr is just going to help Katie try and push out of tunnel a little bit, take some more map control and deny mid, but instead through elbow, it seems like Team Mystic Venus has taken the route through the choke point on the B site.
Having lost quite a few players in that previous round, it means that they're at a little bit of a disadvantage here. But, oh, that knife is huge. Spots out 3 players, and now Team Mystic have to decide, well, what is the plan going to be here? We have seen the KO ultimate come through as well. Null Command pulsating through the site. No abilities left available here for Lotus, but they're just playing this patient. They're waiting it out, and now the suppression is gone, and the spike's moving over towards the A site. I mean, and they're still cleaning up over on B. I mean, this is looking to be a pretty solid round. Surprisingly so, in fact. They've created such a diversion on this B site, and the spike's going to move over to A free and clear. Of course, it's not going to set off that trap because that's at the wrong elevation entirely. That's up in the sniper's nest, so... with the recon dart making sure that the A site is completely free, that means that that spike is going to go down. And now it's about how strong are these post plants. Interestingly enough, Violet still very far away in mid, waiting to see if she can catch off a rotation, but no one is around there, so that means that the forces on the site are somewhat depleted. Pre-Tax Microbe, however, gonna come up huge here with the 2K. And 50 Cent, who's the last player left alive, gotta make this expensive. Gets one. Oh, the timing on that. Turns around at just the wrong second. Didn't make it as expensive as they would have wanted, unfortunately. But, yeah, now with a broken economy as well, things looking a bit rough.
I mean, if Katie is able to pick up an ultimate orb, she will be able to get the Blade Storm, and the Tour de Force is also available for Zephyr. So it's possible that they can bring this back with the help of those two ultimates. Just gotta hope. I mean, Null Command is now down, so they can only really suppress those abilities for a small amount of time, and Mimi has gotta hit those. But look at the posturing and the positioning. They're really headed towards the B site, or heavily leaning that way. Meanwhile, it's a really aggressive push through the halls and through A main to try and sniff these players out.
Ooh. A shoulder gets spotted and it's Violet on flank watch who comes up so huge, but no one's watching her 6. Or her 9, I suppose. I guess that's her 9 o'clock. But okay, Pine is there. She manages to do a little bit of damage with those knives. Just... Oh, well, she got away there, but a nice little swing around is going to cause her to get chunked down in HP. And yet, despite this, Mystic have still been able to get that spike planted. It's been a bit of a tumultuous round here, and Lotus, despite the fact that they're on a very weak investment, still trying to make it expensive. They've only managed to get one. If they can get a couple more, maybe this round will be that little bit more worth, but they're going to have to come up huge here. Snakebite's going to force them out of position as the spike continues to tick away. There's really no time left. They don't want to save this. They try to push it, and they're going to suffer for it. Pine. 16 HP! The right click! Free gun, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, Pine, even without the guns, is now able to pick up a Vandal for herself pretty easily. And it seems like Team Mystic Venus are on one. They are on a mission, and they're trying to get through it as quickly as possible. And now there are 2 ultimates available for the side of Team Mystic Phoenix. They've already popped the Tour de Force already, but on the other side, Lotus, it's going to be a battle of the chambers here if they do decide to meet up. But instead, Team Mystic Phoenix, Violet, just looking up into halls, doesn't see anything just yet, but is able to watch that.
Got double Tour de Forces out here, and so far away from anything realistically. And what an early spike plant just off the back of a solid toxic screen. Deny some of those sight lines. Pine Peak's out there. Zephyr was unscoped, not able to follow up on that. So now a defensive Viper's Pit's going to come out. That's going to create some space and force Mystic back a little bit. Or so they had hoped. Mimi's going to get that first kill of the round. Oh, and she's going to be able to get a second, and that's an important one because AoE Eclipse is down. That means that the Viper's Pit is down, but the trades just keep coming. Violet somehow gets the collat. 50 Cent trades it so beautifully, but it's pre-tax Microbe once again with the last kill of the round, securing yet another one here for Team Mystic. They're looking to make this a very quick game.
Lotus, I mean, I feel like they could have tried and contest that toxic strain right at the beginning of the round because, yes, it does decay, but they had full shields, and if they can hit a few good shots, they had the KO there as well. If they could pop flash through, and as well as information from the recon bolt, I feel like they are playing a little bit scared. They're intimidated a little by this 4-round deficit that they're at, and they're just kind of waiting for their entire team to be there before they decide to push, or they only push on ecos, which is kind of what we're seeing here. And instead, B-site is almost completely open. Pine spots out Zephyr, gets a few pot shots on her, but not yet finishes her off. But still, they are pushing on through as Zephyr rendezvous out.
Trap's gonna spot out that push through main though, so immediately they know that that's coming. And well, with Pine having got that first kill of the round, the spike is planted already. Again, it was one of those gamble stacks, seeing what they can, if it's going to be an A push, then they can hold it down, and if not, then they try to go for a retake. They don't really have the weaponry to make it happen, though, with this being an anti-eco. They've also invested the Blade Storm, manages to get one with it, but it's not going to be enough. This is looking like a little bit of a runaway train.
Yeah, Lotus doesn't seem like they're really catching up. There are solid anti-eco strategies, but theirs seems to just be run it down. And I feel like that they definitely can hit some shots. We saw that there was a sheriff that chunked quite a bit of Pine's health at that point. Now she's picked up an operator. Zephyr's got an operator on the other side as well. So we are going to see some battles in terms of these long ranges, and maybe Katie is going to get caught out here as they creep up mid once again. Recon Bolt gonna spot out Pine though.
Oh, there you go. That gives away her position, so it's going to slow her down a little bit. Has to wait it out. Interesting to note that Zephyr's the one with the op, but it immediately pays off dividends as she's able to get the kill onto Violet. Look at this aggression from Pine. She's just running straight up into mid through the arch. But of course, there's a movement behind her. Is she aware of AoE Eclipse? All right, AoE Eclipse is a little bit too slow there, and Pine, quick to swap out the guns, is able to get yet another one. Now, we spoke about the off battle, Zephyr versus Pine, as the Viper's Pit comes down, and it's Pine who comes out on top. Pine, for the third time in the round, just being an absolute demon. Jasmine, last player left alive, and Pine is hot on her trail. Gets team flashed, not ideal, but there you go. She still secures herself the 4th in that round. Monstrous performance from Pine here.
Yeah, I mean, Pine able to find 4 in the round and just creep up mid with the operator. Lots of confidence coming out from her. Already Bladestorm online as well. And on the other side, they've only got the Hunter's Fury, but Hunter's Fury is also available for Team Mystic Venus, so they are just playing so well. And again, once again, anti-eco, it's a gamble stack towards the B site. I expect to see a full push, and it's just Zephyr alone on the other site, and I'm not sure if she can hold this one down.
I mean, honestly, this is even expected from Team Mystic. Look at all of those traps leading in through A main. They're waiting to see if it's going to be the push in from the B side. Hunter's Fury is going to come out. Not quite able to connect, but it's forcing Zephyr to have to consistently be moving in. Now Pine. Oh no. Oh, Pine. Just absolutely disgusting. The collat as well. It feels like her team just does not want to let her have an ace, though. Like, that was the perfect opportunity to let that happen. They were just like, nah, gotta pad our stats. You can't have all of them.
Yeah, I mean, Pine just this is like, I think, the Jet player that we have not really seen in the last few matches. It's just like incredible amounts of confidence, picking up the operator, making big waves, big impact on the server with it as well. And it's just, I mean, it's really entertaining to watch, but honestly, they're just running through Lotus.
I mean, Mimi was the one that started this map off so strongly, and it's somehow Pine who's doubled her kills. But there you go, Null Command's gonna come out. That does not bode well for this Lotus squad. They've also bought into an operator once again, gonna try to take this battle, but Pine somehow always comes out on top of it.
But AO Eclipse shutting down both Pine and Mimi, and now Katie.
Nice little 2K there, and it's... Yeah, I mean, this has been pretty decisive. I did see that one of our players had a slight disconnect there, which is, it's rough and around like this. But at the end of the day, I feel like if you're Mystic, you're not too worried about one round. You also realize that the spike has been down. You're just playing post-plant. The spike is planted for you, and despite the fact that you were 3 versus 2, or 2 versus 3, I suppose, you still come out on top of that round. Just monstrous performance here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought right at the beginning of the round, AO Eclipse kind of made it out like a bandit after getting those 2 kills on Pine and Mimi, who we were just hyping up of saying, oh, well, they are doing absolutely amazing. They are just so much confidence, shooting really well, and taking up a lot of space for this team. And then immediately, those 2 both down. Katie gets another pick and hauls, and then you're like, oh, this could be it. They're taking back another round. And it's the lineup from the Viper, and what is that lineup?
That's amazing. I love that.
I know.
I mean, it clears out the entire back of the B site, gives you all of that information so easily, and, well, we're getting these spicy lineups on what is essentially an anti-eco. Oh, dire straits, dire straits. If Mystic win this round, that puts them in onto double digits. Zephyr trying to battle that back, and somehow they've managed to trade through here. In fact, Lotus give themselves the advantage here. We've seen them in a 3 versus 2 before. We've seen them lose these. Somehow Pine misses that shot, and that's very unfortunate. Now a Viper Spit's gonna come through, but the peek from Jasmine is just too far out. Now 2 versus 2. The knives have been committed. But is there time to even go for a defuse here? Somehow they're gonna be able to get the kills. But is there time? It's so close. Oh no! 2 of a second. Unbelievable ability to just keep stalling that out.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus definitely, they see that Jet weaving in and out, and they see the Viper weaving in and out as well, and that is just terrifying, especially since you're sitting inside the poison orb, so you know that you're already getting your health decently chunked, and neither of them lost their lives to the players but to the spike, and it's just like there wasn't that trust there, I think, to just hold down that spike, make sure that other player is holding you when you're sitting inside. So much utility.
Force comes out, and Violet immediately puts Zephyr to bed. That's gonna be their Tour de Force. Completely gone. Oh, the updraft gets shut down by AoE Clips. She's been very strong for this roster, for Lotus. Consistently trying to battle it back. Now Null Command's going to come through from 50 Cent. Might give them the chance to bring this back into their favor. But the spike having been planted now, you know that they can't rotate away. You know that this ultimate can't have been completely wasted, but you have to push in. You have to make it happen. Flash goes out. Doesn't seem to connect to anything. There you go. Katie's going to get a nice follow-up. Katie with a second kill. And somehow they're still in this. They're still alive. But again, that spike is slowly ticking away. They have to team up on this. They have to get this last kill. Katie's already gone. It's just 50 Cent versus Mimi. Ringa Rosie. Who can buy time the best? 50 Cent comes out on top. 7 HP and a dream. The dream is to get this defuse. Is there enough time? Yes, 1.4 seconds left, it remaining a 10-2 Getting so excited about a second round on the board, but I gotta say, Tyler, things are not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, finally at the last round of the half, they're able to pull at least one back, and that is good for for Lotus. But against Team Mystic Venus, it's still 8 rounds that they have left to go, and it took so long for them to be able to try and get even that one round, just a little bit, like a single pinky toe back into the game, and now they've switched sides. They can't even build momentum off that defuse, and it looks like a really confident buy from Team Mystic Venus as well. They have those two ghosts. They have the Sheriff as well in the hands of the Jet, and that's 800 credits. You can't buy anything else, but Pine, look at how confidently she is going here.
Well, she gets flashed out. She does get 1 kill. So that's going to be the Sheriff on the ground. 50 Cent, no, she can't just kind of push this. She has to be careful. I think she'd love to pick up that Sheriff if she can. Let's see, there you go, yoink! Eclipse was looking for it as well. He's, quicker on the trigger, and it is going to be 50 Cent. She's down to 70 HP. It's not ideal. Now Mimi is taking a very close corner here as well. The smoke goes down, and 50 Cent with the flick. It is good. She doesn't take even a single bit of damage in that engagement, but it's Jessie who swings out strong, gets the trade in 2 versus 2. Yeah, Pretext Microbe isn't peeking. She's taking her time now. Now, when the crossfire is in position, they're able to shut it down. 11-2. We're so close to match point. What on earth can Lotus do to bring this back?
Doesn't seem like there's much at this point, because now they have to force into this round. They want to keep them off match point, or they don't have to force, but then they have to sit on that match point if they let this one go, and just kind of hope that they don't make a single mistake for 10 rounds in a row. And that is a really difficult comeback to make. I mean, you've seen it happen perhaps before, a 10-round comeback, but it is hard and really difficult on the mental, and I don't know if Lotus have the momentum, but they still force into this round. They've kept some of the players on Team Mystic Venus on pistols, but that's the Chamber and the Jet, so maybe some flashy play is going to happen here, but they run up mid. Oh my god, already a dink onto Pine.
Oh, oh wow, Violet spamming away, but somehow it's just Pine who keeps hitting those shots. She's been so good. She's been so consistent. She gets a third one. Violet will finally be able to get a connection there, but it's just clean up. Now we're on to match point. And Lotus, they kind of forced into that round. They kind of had to. They can't really buy up here, Tala. This is looking like it's the end.
Yeah, I mean, they can't buy anything. Even if they force all their money, they're still kind of at a deficit. And I mean, the Chamber isn't close to the ultimate. Neither is the Jet. Pine is 5-7. She's 22 and 8, actually, but like she's 5 out of 7 on the ult orbs. So she could, and she's picked up the Spectre as well. So this is a really scary situation for for Lotus to be in. And I'm not sure if they can bring this one back, but they're just all crowded up here, and the confidence, the push, the map control from Team Mystic Venus, it's so much.
All right, let's see what Lotus can make happen here. All right, AoE Eclipse, you've done so much before, but now Jasmine caught out in a very unfortunate position there. They know where she is, but if they peek her, there's a good crossfire waiting, but nobody expects me on the flank. The spike has gone down. She manages to get a beautiful kill there, but it's Katie who's coming up so huge. Violet gets a 3K, and Mimi's still in the back line. No one knew she was there. 13-2, Tala. Our closest matchup all day.
Oh yeah, this was so close. I mean, yeah, there was just like they just ran it over. I mean, it's kind of not what you really expect at the very end of the day, at the very last matchup. But when it's Team Mystic Venus against Lotus, Lotus already 0-2 in the series. I guess it's just like it's been a long day, and at the end, when you're already down 2 rounds, you know there's no way you can make it. How hard do you really want to fight for that last point?
Well, welcome back, ladies. That was an intense series to end it off on. I mean, Team Mystic Venus did incredibly well in the first half and then just cleaning up in the second. GG's to both teams here. That being Team Mystic Venus 13-2 against Team Lotus. And I mean, I am going to take everyone through the standings really quickly because I'm sure that not just you guys, but the audience back at home watching online right now, everyone's curious to see how the third round went out. And in Group A, that's going to be Dart Monkeys 2-0, Team Mystic Venus, yes, because Dart Monkeys and NMG Celeste have not yet finished their matchup, so we don't know the outcome of that one yet. So that's 2-0 for now for Dart Monkeys, but still in game, Team Mystic Venus going to be 2-1, and MG Celeste currently 1-1 as they finish out their third round as well. Lotus is going to be 0-3, and then going over to Group B, that's Final Form 3-0 for the series, and then that's going to be an 0-3 for EQ Scarlet, but YFP Black and Bathwater are currently battling it out, both also at a 1-1 going into this one. So it's kind of the same deal that, you know, we were seeing previously. And then now going into the Group C, that's going to be Light Up Sketchers taking it 3-0 in groups. Men I Love Wogs is going to be 2-1 in groups. Team Obsidian 1-2, and BEKNZ Plus is going to be 0-3. I was going to say Beckons, and then I was like, I started it off wrong, so that I just went for the spelling of it. I know that's why you're laughing at me, Tala. But ending it off in Group D, that's going to be Def Not SRN, currently 2-0. Aim Punch 1-1, Team Kittens 1-1, and Invicta 0-2, as we do not yet have the standings, as those matches are also still currently ongoing. But I mean, how did you guys feel about that last series? I think Team Mystic Venus really showed up, but I think, you know, at the same time, you know, Lotus is a pug team. They just recently came together as well. And on Breeze, considering the size of the map and the flank potential, you just have to have a lot of coordination. So Team Mystic Venus already kind of having the upper hand, considering the fact that they've been playing together for a while now. But
Yeah, I definitely think like they it definitely makes sense for Team Mystic Venus to come out on top of that matchup. Considering Lotus, it's like just in general, they're not really a well-known name. Like you said, they're a pug team, Team Mystic Venus. You kind of know about them. They've been in the scene for a while. They've been playing together for a little bit, and they're still like they're still playing together and trying to improve. And it's kind of what you expect. It seemed like they had a lot of synergy with each other, and they were just having a lot of fun on that last map. So it's like you don't always see it. It sometimes seems like when teams are struggling, they're just really down in the dumps. But it still seemed like they weren't just completely letting it go.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Sam, like you said before, Team Mystic Venus, they really had to close this one out with as many rounds as possible, considering the fact that they were potentially going to be up against, that round differential situation. Not that we have, the info to see if it is going to be the round differential that they have to have that toss up in quite yet. But I mean, in the end, though, GG's, this was the end of day one. It was only the group stages today. Today was best of one series, round robins across the board in 4 groups. And tomorrow we will be taking it to top 8 and then semifinals. Then on Sunday, we'll be back for grand. So tune in at 12 p.m. PST, both Saturday and Sunday, to catch out those games. And as a reminder, for the Game Changers Academy March series, these teams are battling out for a $1,500 USD prize pool. But that is all for tonight. And I mean, unless you guys have any final words, I think we're ready to close things out. Yeah, so I guess that's the end. I wasn't sure, just checking, just in case. But before we do go, also want to give big thanks to our production team behind the scenes. That's Cherry Comfort, our producer, and Betty, our lovely observer. The show would not be able to go on without them. So that is all for us tonight, and stay tuned for some more Valorant VCT Game Changers Academy action tomorrow.
When you